Now we have a next session. It's on seed production. India is a hub for quality seed production for global companies, status and challenges. And for this session, I request Chair Dr. Sanjay Kumar, Director ICAR-IISS MAU, to come on the dais. To support him, Co-Chair Mr. Richard, President Cravo Equipment, please follow him, and Reporter Mallikarjun sir, Managing Director, Atlas Seeds and Services.
So good afternoon. Welcome to this session 4, session on seed production. India is a hub for quality seed production for global companies, status and challenges. I understand after a good lunch, it's difficult to sit here. Yeah. So I welcome my co-chair, Mr. Richard Bollywood, President Cravo Equipment Limited, and rapporteur Mallikarjun, our managing partner at Atlas Seeds. We have 6 speakers in this session, and already we are behind schedule. So it's my humble submission to all the presenters. Please stick to time, and if you can manage, save some time, that will be very fine. So Richard, you want to say something, or directly let's start with the presentation? Okay, so first presentation is by me, so I'll start. So, good afternoon. Topic assigned to me was seed technology and policies that can substantially help export of India's seed. We all know that how our population is increasing, demand of cereal, certainly here I've shown only the cereal, the whole food demand is increasing, and as per expectation by 2050 we will be 8.8 billion. Even our domestic requirement, what was 192 of the food grain in 2000, now it has reached, by 2030 it will be 355 million ton. To meet this requirement, our production has to be increased. Area is the same, productivity has to be increased, and the seed is the best solution. Not only the population, in fact we have a number of the problems, number of the challenges that our breeders are facing. Climate change, average temperature is increasing, and it is expected that by 2050 average temperature will be 16 degrees Celsius. Pest problem will be more, battle for water requirement will be more, and arable land will be less. So considering all these challenges, in fact, we have to go for very precise breeding methods, very precise tools that may be of the mass, CRISPR, gene editing, or genetic transformation system. If we come to the seed sector, we are 5th in the world. But if it's share, just see the share of India, this is around 6%. So the top is having 35%, number 2 is 16%. So how behind we? In the Indian seed domain, present market, in fact, this seed industry is about the $3 billion. Out of this, in fact, we have both this varietal as well as the hybrid. And as per the latest estimate, this varietal market is up to 12.5 thousand crore, while the hybrid is 10,000 crore. Even under this varietal, we have a large portion of the organized sector. And as per one of our study, we have taken one study covering around more than 120 districts of India, this unorganized sector or informal sector seeds, that is around 37%, while as per the secondary data is around 45%. Though the difference is there in these two analysis, but this is one thing that informal seed sector has substantial amount in our whole seed program. For this, we have a very good setup in the country under the public seed sector. I see. We have a national seed corporation, 25 state seed corporation, and for the research more than 114 ICR institute, out of which 54 is working directly for the crop improvement. 73 agricultural university. Under the private sector, we have around 50 large national and multinational companies, and more than 500 small seed companies are working. A number of the companies, they both have the production as well as the research, their priorities. So to assure the quality, we have very good quality assurance system in the country. Around 145 notified seed testing laboratory we have, out of which 8 ISTA accredited and 20 ISTA member laboratory also we have, 1 central seed testing laboratory and 1 referral laboratory for the BT cotton. If we see the seed system in the country, what we are following, normally we start with the breeder seed production, that Indians come to the ministry, DSC, and then DSC allot given to this ICR, and the concerned ICR institute take up all this seed production program through our different crop-based institutes. And here our role at the Indian Institute of Seed Science comes. So we coordinate and monitor the production of the breeder seed from the starting to the final label. So anywhere if any lapses is there, we plan for the next season and the next generation how this can be meet out. So finally, of the production, again, this whole data will be transferred to the Department of Agriculture and Cooperation to Ministry, and they allocate to the concerned State Department. Now, in fact, we have provision also that the private seed industry, they participate in this, in fact, not directly, but through association, Seed Association of India, or maybe the Federation. In the last 8 years, you will see, we have lots of variety for all the crops. Around 2,000 variety we have released. In fact, these have not only for all the crops, but the number of the trait specific also. We have biofortified variety. We have, and if you can see, the total seed production is directly related to the total production in the country. So however, with the year, in fact, you can see that this total seed availability is increasing, and similarly that making effect on the total availability of the food grain, oilseed production, even the pulse production. This is the data for the breeder seed production, what we are producing since last 81, 82, this data we have compiled. So now, in fact, we have reached on the plateau and whatever the requirement is. So regular, in fact, our requirement is around 18,000 quintal, and we are producing more than the 1,20,000 quintal every year. Not only the breeder seed, in fact, you will see the total requirement in the country of the certified seeds is around 2.5 crore quintal or 2.5 million tons. And we are producing around 3 crore quintal seeds every year for the certified seeds. Similarly, the foundation seeds, our requirement is about 13 lakh quintal. We are producing more than 22 lakh quintal of the foundation seed. So our production capacity is there. We have very good production capacity for all the classes of the seed. This I am taking only for the food crops. In fact, vegetables is not included in this. Seed replacement rate, that is the major factor, in fact, how we can move faster. In 2002, this was as per the national seed policy, this was decided that at least our self-pollinated seed replacement rate should be 35%, and for cross-pollinated 50%. But you can see still, in fact, the number of the crops for the cereal, sorghum is below 35%. In the pulses, we have chickpea, peas, where we have less than 35%. Similarly, in the oilseed, soybean is the major crop that is not reaching the seed replacement rate. If you see the global scenario, whatever the composition of different field crops as well the vegetable crops in the total export situation, and if we see the, our contribution, so India has 1% role both in the export and same in the case of the import also. These are the major export-import market. If we see in the Asia, India has certainly a very good market apart from the China. In the Europe, we have France, Netherlands. In the South America, Brazil is the major market. In the North America, certainly US is the major market. If you see the total Indian seed export-import scenario, this data, 2-year-old data, here you can notice one thing. This year, 2013 and 2018, this 2 years is a very significant role in the total export system and even the import. as we have discussed since the last yesterday also, in fact, some policy were made, and that clearly affected in our export also, and it's also reflected on the import also. If it is a share, both in the quantity and the value term, it comes around the 1%, and for the different commodity, certainly vegetable has the higher percentage, both export as well as the import term. These are the top seed export destination in the world. Asia has a major market, and if we, for the field crop, for the vegetable crops, and both for the field crops also. And if we see our market as an Asian market or the SAARC market, Philippines has a very good market, and we'll see is the SAARC, Bangladesh, Pakistan, that's a very good market for our seeds. These are the leading crop segment. Cotton has the highest share in the export, followed by vegetable, and the country, in fact, we'll see the Bangladesh is the mainly for the vegetables. If we see the World Seed Partnership, considering all the stakeholders at the one side, with the objective to support development of seed sector in the countries around the world, and making sure that farmers has access to high quality seed and suitable new plant varieties. Certainly, when we see the regulation, this OECD, UPO, and ISTA has a major role. And if we see the representation from the farmer side, and the International Seed Federation, ISF, and the World Farmers Organization, that has the major role. OECD, in fact, we are the signatory from the beginning, and we are participating in the 6th scheme out of the 8th scheme. And with some of the global fact, during 1920, around more than 1 million ton seed has been exported only through these OECD schemes. So around 28% of the global seed export is through the OECD seed scheme. On 3 major species, we have a wheat, maize, and sunflower. But if you see in case of the wheat, the largest producer and certifying through this OECD is Iran, followed by Italy and Croatia. In case of the maize, France has the highest producer certified, followed by Hungary and Italy. But we have a strength in the wheat, sunflower, sorghum, maize hybrid, cotton hybrid, rapeseed mustard, solanaceous vegetable, where we can make impact in through OECD in the total increasing share in our world market. We have a very good start for this OECD scheme. So whole country has divided into the different zones, in fact, and all the states are participating in this through 9 different designated authority. Is headed by the National Designated Authority, that is Joint Secretary seats. So all the states are participating in, and in fact we have made an action plan for this OECD to identification of crop and varieties as per the export potential, and whatever the new variety is being suggested by any state or any DA, that in fact we are trying to include it in the OECD list. Adaptability of the identified crop variety in particular country, we are planning to export, that is a very much essential. Then identify the stakeholders, which seed company or which state in fact is planning for any taking of this OECD scheme for the export. Internal seed quality system review method, because until and unless you have a better seed quality maintenance system, seed quality assurance system, certainly we don't have any role in the world market. And regular creation of new demand of Indian seed in the targeted foreign country by making international survey. Only a good example we have from our Telangana state that has made very good progress in this through this OECD export of seed through OECD seed scheme, and they have produced a good large number of quantity. Another, the ISTA International Seed Testing Association is working under the vision uniformity in the seed quality evaluation worldwide. It has presence in the 83 countries, more than 225 members lab, but unfortunately with the so vast country, to date, we have only 8 this accredited laboratory. Out of this 8, 6 are in the private sector, only 2 in the public sector. Though 20 laboratory, in fact, here we have not listed here, name that 10 from the private and the 10 from the public is member laboratory and trying in the different phases to get accreditation. We are one of them also. Our laboratory is the member laboratory. And certainly in this, we need collaboration with the Indo-American or some other company. So how they can train some private or even the public sector to get accreditation from ISTA. Seed health is another major, in fact, parameter which normally we have ignored so far. Though in the new seed bill, it has given a very good importance. But so far, in fact, we don't have the seed parameter. In fact, we do not have any good seed-borne disease for the regular our system. We have only only 6 diseases we have identified. Though we are working on this, we have a regular protocol for different diseases. We have seed enhancement where we can make any variety, give the value with the good germination and the number of the good things. So with just some manipulation of the vigor and physiological status, we can improve germination. With the planting value can be improved with the facilitation of the coating, encrusting, pelleting, delivery of the material, not only the pesticide, but the nutrient, inoculant, and the removal of the weak, dead seed using non-traditional by using color and density method. And also the traceability, that's also very important. So all these points we are taking in our seed technology research. Now the products are there. We have a number of these options are there. In fact, cold plasma treatment, magnetopriming, electropriming, a number of in fact, this technologies are there. But for using this technology, we have to consider its value and really how this economic analysis is needed. So how this is important, how this is useful for our country. Our Indian seed system, we have a diverse agroclimatic region, that's the major strength. India has 15 major agroclimatic zones, 127 agroclimatic regions, and 20 agroecological zones based on the soil. Ample opportunity to grow variety of the crops. We have tropical, subtropical, subtemperate, temperate, all the climates, in fact, we have. Similar agro condition, that's a very good fit for the Southeast Asian, and the African country. And that's why, in fact, we have a very good opportunity for these countries in our seed export. Skilled manpower, we have a very good manpower in the research and development sectors for all in the plant breeding, biotechnology, seed production, seed technology. We can take up this custom seed production scheme. In fact, yesterday, Mr. Kondania has also pointed out, investment in the seed production region, certainly we are making good investment from the public sector also, in the private sector, so huge investment. As I have shown just now, we have government network, we have a very large network of the whole seed system in the country. Huge germplasm base, as Dr. Pratibha has just shown. In fact, we have very good germplasm, so we can utilize that germplasm for increasing this export share. These are some growth factor and opportunity that Indian seed market. Hybrid vigor, that's in fact now it's a very common, and its exploitation is in the rising. Especially trait varieties, the biofortification, elimination of anti-nutritional factor, mechanical harvesting, that this point was also raised yesterday. So now, in fact, we have a number of the variety that is very much suited for this mechanical harvesting, and that is a good scope for increasing our share in the export market, breeding for abiotic, biotic stress resistance, a modern tool. In fact, ICAR has recently taken a decision, and all the gene editing this have taken on a mass scale. Consumer preference and the processing industry demand, so we have in fact product as per the processing industry demand and the consumer preference also. So it will summarize the whole thing. We have the favorable and diverse agroclimatic regions, and that's really suit for, and this really provide opportunity for our increasing export share. Strong agricultural research capacity. We have a vast number of this agricultural research system in the country. But certainly, in fact, we are where we are lacking. We are certainly not up to the mark on the export-oriented our trait development point. So that should be included in our curriculum, the regular program. Scientific and the commercial probability, no doubt about it. Strong seed production capabilities. We have a large environment, in fact, that is suited. Climate and the cropping patterns, similarity with other country, directly, in fact, so whatever our climate is directly suited with the Southeast Asian, South Asian, African country. lack of seed infrastructure and human resources in African and Asian country. So we have to take advantage what our neighbor is, our other country is lacking, and in fact the system is same, the climate is same. So if they are not having the good number of this infrastructure, certainly we can make advantage and we can use this to increase our export potential. In their participation in the OECD scheme, certainly we are making a good progress, but whatever it's required, it's not up to the mark. It has to be more accelerated, and presence of the immense knowledge system that is also we have in our system. So with this proper capacity building in seed production, supply chain management, and quality infrastructure development, we can certainly raise our total export to the $500 million in the next 5 years, and maybe with a $1 billion in 8 to 10 years in the coming. Certainly it's need big policy reform from the government side, though government are doing this, but naturally demand is in fact, so we have to make a good coordination between the public and the private sector, so that whatever private is in fact demanding, so if we can use the single window system and all the good investment in the R&D, certainly we will make a good progress in this. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanjay, for this amazing and broad overview on the industry. And as I was sitting here watching and listening to you, it's very clear that the industry has a huge upside potential. There's no demand problem here. The constraint is internal. And I've had the good fortune of traveling to India for over 7 years now, and I've seen firsthand the changes in this country, particularly in the last 2 years. And if those changes that you can see traveling around are indicative of the development within the seed industry, then I have a very high degree of confidence that as a country and a collection of companies, that you will conquer all of those challenges and barriers that are hindering the forward progress. So thank you very much for that.